So I'll tell you a story about Good Lies. Where's that book? Oh, I don't have it. Where is it? Oh, yeah, American Pageant by Elizabeth Cohen. She rewrote this. This original textbook was written in the 90s. Or 80s, maybe. So it's like a 20th edition. Well, she did not write Elizabeth Cohen. It was only David M. Kennedy. And the book is completely different. But when she joined, the country became the most horrible place in the world, and people are just exploiting. And for example, we just totally abused the slaves, and we're horrible people. Well, I looked up in the index the cotton gin. Well, she doesn't even mention it.
Okay.
Well, cotton gin is what created slavery in America, more or less, because slavery was at, let's say, in 1800, slavery was on its way out. Because there was no real labor for slaves that was practical. And there was also a growing swell of men with leadership like Thomas Jefferson, who was adamantly against slavery. Even though he had slaves, he was against it. He didn't like it as a system. He was trying to get rid of it. And there was a vote to ban slavery in the whole United States, like in 1800. And the vote only lost in Congress, only lost by one vote. It was very close. And so slavery was, they would have proposed the law again a few years later, and it would have won. And we would have banned slavery in 1801, 1802 as a country. But what happened is Eli Whitney invented a device called the cotton gin. And that allowed now the mass production of cotton on a widespread, economically feasible. So then every fella that could bought a plot of land, got himself a black slave, and was building his fortune. If it wasn't for the cotton gin, slavery would have been banned in 1801, 1802. Well, she doesn't mention it. She doesn't even mention that invention when telling the story about slavery. And then there's also tons of contradictions. For example, slavery was so brutal and horrible, it was the most terrible thing, and exploited people were killed, raped, and dead. But the slave population was rising dramatically because they were having children. And that's a big contradiction. Because like in the Caribbeans, where slavery was a brutal, horrible institution, treated awful by the French and Spanish, terribly. The life expectancy of a typical Caribbean slave was 3 years. 3 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they would work to death. Brutal. Well, they weren't having children because it was such a horrible institution. It's kind of like America now, we're not having children. Well, it's not only economic.